All right, everybody, it is here. It is finally here. It's been several years now. We've been patiently waiting. Some of us maybe impatiently waiting, but the NFC West crown is here. And I'd go so far as to say they did it in style. I know it wasn't a blowout. I know the game wasn't over at halftime, but at the very least, one part of this team did something that I don't think anybody saw coming. Seahawks 13, 49ers 3. This 49ers offense, which has been unstoppable for the last 3 games and one of the best in the league, maybe the best in the league for the last 6, and has been really good throughout the entire year, no matter how you slice it, no matter how many injuries they have. 3 points, not even 175 yards. Unreal how dialed in that defense was. All right, guys, let's take a minute so I can tell you guys about Sleeper. I'll tell you a little secret as well. It's more than just a platform for fantasy leagues. This year, millions of users have enjoyed playing fantasy sports on Sleeper, but there's so much more to it. You have live stats, real-time updates of all stats. You have a news feed with lightning-fast updates on players and teams, and a real-time chat where you can engage with other users about plays, performances, games, all kinds of stuff during the sports season. So download Sleeper, experience it for yourself, and don't forget to use my promo code SBN to get up to a $100 match on your first deposit, and pair that with their new promo that will give you a free $20 entry, no deposit needed. So you can use both of those promos. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states and going, so check out Sleeper today and use those promos. And that's the one thing I really want to hammer in this video, so I'm going to go ahead and kind of put it here at the beginning. Whatever people might say about this offense, and there have been issues with the offense in recent weeks, and tonight there were issues with the offense, and people are going to say blah, blah, blah about Sam Darnold. They're going to say stuff about Clint Kubiak. They're going to say stuff about Anthony Bradford and Jalen Sundle and Cooper Kupp, and and look, these players are flawed. The coach is flawed. They do bad things, but trust me, this team, and don't let anybody else tell you otherwise. With this defense, this team can win a championship. I'm not saying they will, because there's no way you can say that in any circumstance about an NFL team. That's not how this works. But this team can win a Super Bowl with this defense. So starting with that group, I'm going to say it again. Less than 175 yards on the road against the most unstoppable offense in football. And yeah, no Trent Williams, no Ricky Pearsall, but they did have McCaffrey. They did have Brock Purdy. They did have Jawan Jennings. They did have George Kittle. And most importantly, they have Kyle Shanahan. And Shanahan had nothing. Shanahan had nothing. There was nothing he could do tonight. You saw it. Like, that whole game, this defense was living within 10 to 12 yards of the line of scrimmage, and he couldn't punish. Brock Purdy can't punish. The receivers they had tonight could not punish. Maybe if they had Pearsall out there, yeah, it could be different. But without him, like if that's the difference between life and death for this San Francisco offense, then they're in trouble in ways beyond what tonight even showed. So that was an absolute work of art. We got tons of pressure on Purdy. I know we only had the 3 sacks, but ton of pressure on Purdy. They couldn't run the ball. Their only real successful running game in this game was Brock Purdy taking off on scrambles. He had 2 good scrambles in this game, and other than that, the Niners really could not run the ball at all. Jennings had like 2 good catches. Kittle had like 1 big play. Other than that, I think Demarcus Robinson had one of their best plays of the game offensively. They had the one drive where things looked good. And other than that, it was exactly what we talk about. This game is why Mike Macdonald is here. And obviously, there's plenty of stuff we can go into there. Mike Macdonald, so very clearly the right guy for this job. So very clearly an incredible coach. Not just the best coach we could have hired the year we hired him, but probably the best head coaching candidate the NFL has had in some time. Like, would you take any head coaching hire from last year over McDonald? Would you take any head coaching candidate from the previous year over McDonald? We got really lucky, guys. We moved off of Pete Carroll and immediately pivoted to a guy who looks like he's going to be an incredible coach, who looks like he is maybe going to be the iconic coach of his era for all we know, because he hasn't even fully settled in yet. This is year 2. This is year 2. He probably doesn't have everything exactly the way he wants it yet, and he's 14-3. He's what, 15-2 on the road? This kind of stuff doesn't happen in real life that much. And here we are. So this defense, man, it's incredible what they did tonight. Like, if I were to go down a list of every player on this Seahawks defense, could I find anybody to legitimately criticize? I don't think so. Boye Mafe, playing what could be his last couple of games as a Seahawk here, going into the playoffs, he's been good. He tipped that pass to help create the interception tonight, and I thought he made some other good plays as well. You can see that he's locking in, knowing that he's now playing for his next contract. I thought Derek Hall was great. A lot of pressure on Purdy, and he's playing the run better than we ever saw him play before. DeMarcus Lawrence, I know he didn't put up the big numbers. Leonard Williams, I don't even think showed up on the stat sheet, but these guys doing work. Byron Murphy collapsing the pocket. Just so much stuff coming together here. Nick Emanwari maybe had one of the best games of any Seahawks defender this week. Ernest Jones. Reek Woolen. Can we talk about Reek Woolen for a second here? Multiple times today, I see Reek Woolen coming up in the open field and making a big tackle. Not just a tackle, but he's making a big, clean, successful tackle, not allowing any extra yards. It is so unlike the Reek Woolen that we have come to know these last few years. And even earlier this year, he wasn't playing like this. He has become a complete corner all of a sudden. And look, I wasn't born yesterday. I know he's doing it because he's thinking about that contract he's going to get in the offseason. If I had confidence that he could play like this going forward and he was going to be this guy for the rest of his life, I'd pay him anything he wanted because he's just been incredible now. Like these last couple of games, ever since he decided I'm going to lock in, he's been unreal. Like he's not Devin Witherspoon in terms of coming up and tackling, but he's been really good. And his coverage, you put those things together and you have a historically good corner. Speaking of Witherspoon, great play he made on that third down to force a fourth down and a punt. Drake Thomas, I know the ball bounces off CMC's hands, but that's a crazy good interception in a moment where we needed it. That's a moment where that game could be flipping. That's the moment where that game is about to get real interesting, and he gets an opportunity that, I mean, if he had dropped it, I wouldn't have thought much of it, right? That would just be like, oh, that's kind of a fluky play anyway, but he brought it in. Yeah, you go down the list, man. You can't find guys to criticize. Jaron Reed had a sack for the first time in a very long time. It was just a perfect defensive game. It's like the Homelander meme. Everything was perfect down to the last minute detail. And it's a perfect way to wrap up this regular season, knowing why Mike McDonald was brought in here. Mike was brought in to do exactly that to this exact team. Well, this team and the Rams, but the 49ers in particular. They were a team. Pete Carroll wasn't able to stop the last couple of years he was here. Had some issues beating them. Had issues stopping the Shanahan offense. We bring in Mike, knowing what he can do against teams like San Fran, hoping that he can also do something similar against a team like the Rams. And tonight, with everything on the line, with so much on the line, he comes through. And I could spend this whole video just talking about the defense, but I do want to pivot to the offense here. Look, guys, there's going to be consternation over the next couple weeks about this offense. It wasn't the greatest game they could have played. What I would say is that they left a lot of points on the field. This offense gained about 360 yards from scrimmage. It was right around 360. And with the way they ran the ball, with the way they were able to really control the game on the ground, and with the way they were able to convert on third down, you would expect to score at least 23 points playing that way in most games. The fact that we didn't score at least 23 points is kind of, I mean, it does reflect some unfortunate realities about this team, but at the same time, it's also kind of a fluke. It's also kind of bad luck. And I wouldn't worry about it. If the offense plays the way they played tonight in games in the future, in the postseason, they're going to put up at least 23, 24 points, and most of the time they're going to win. With this defense the way they're playing right now, 23, 24 points, that's almost always going to result in a win. So, no, I'm not too down on the offense. They missed a couple field goals. They went for it on a fourth down where they shouldn't have even been in the situation of the fourth down in the first place. They had a couple of other awkward situations they got caught in here. But when you have a game where you convert on, what was it, half or more than half of your third downs, and you're running the ball like that and you don't turn it over, you expect to score points. The fact that we didn't score points tonight, I'm not gonna get wrapped up in it. It's kind of fluky. It's not something that I think is gonna happen again anytime soon. It's just bad luck more than anything else. Myers owns a little bit of it. It's a windy night in San Francisco. Just one of those things. So I'm not getting twisted up about any of that. I'm not saying the offense is everything's great right now, like that sequence on the first drive, first and goal from the 1, and then you do play action. I can't defend that. There's no defending that. But move past that. Move past that. Think about that drive at the end of the game to basically put the game away. You go 90 yards down the field pretty much, and then the drive ends in 0 points. Kind of a fluke, by the way. But the point I'm trying to make here is that that was an incredibly successful drive that basically sealed the win. Just because you didn't get any points doesn't mean that it wasn't a great drive. I'm thinking about the 180 yards rushing we had, and San Fran's rush defense, they are uniquely bad. I understand that. San Francisco does not have the ability to stop the run. You play a team like the Rams, or presumably even I would say a team like the Bears, or a team like the Eagles. They're going to offer more resistance than that. I understand. But I'm focusing on these things right now. I'm focusing on the no turnovers. I'm focusing on Sam Darnold, who I don't think played an incredible game, but he played a perfectly workable game in my estimation. He played the kind of game that we brought him in here to play. And bottom line is, I know this is not as fun as the offense that we had earlier in the season, but this is the offense that Kubiak wanted. I think it's the offense that McDonald and Schneider wanted, and it just took them all year to find it. They wanted an offense that controls the time of possession, runs the ball successfully, hits plays off play action, plays from ahead, and scores enough points to win. When they throw it, most of the time it's to JSN. They've also got a little bit of a screen game going with their running backs now. They had multiple successful dump-offs to running backs tonight. Walker and Charbonnet both had them. And they also had Cooper Kupp catching 2 passes, both to convert third downs to basically put the game away. That's the kind of offense we wanted. I don't think we ever wanted the JSN breaks the all-time receiving record and has 2,000 yards offense. That was a necessity because of the way opposing teams were playing us. And it was a necessity because of just not having a lot of other receiver talent on the team at that time. But this is the way it was meant to be. This is a low variance offense now. And I'm telling everybody right now, get used to it. This is the way this team wants to play. Keep it safe, keep it simple, run the ball on third and long, punt it, avoid turnovers, and just stick to the plan. And if the defense has a really bad day in the postseason, then we probably lose. But as long as they don't, we're almost always going to win because the variance is lower. the opportunity for things to go really, really wrong is lower. You could argue that tonight things went wrong because we only scored 13 points. We still win. So this is what this offense is. Like, and when we got Rashid Shaheed, a lot of people I think got excited that, oh, we're going to be airing the ball out now. We're going to be throwing it deep down the field. We're going to be making more big plays. No, I think that Shaheed is forcing defenses to play back, and that's what we valued. And on a night like tonight, where you ran the ball for 180 yards and you basically controlled the game on the ground, it's more worth it there than it could be with a couple big plays a game. And hey, if a team decides they're going to force us to beat them over the top, we know we can do it because we did it earlier this year. First half of the season, we lived and died by the deep shot and going for the big play and just kind of airing it out. High air yards. So we know we can do it if we absolutely have to, but we don't want to. And I understand it. And I think it's a good idea. So I know people are going to be worried about the offense this week. They're going to say, we can't win a Super Bowl with this offense. We can't win a Super Bowl with Sam Darnold, or can't win a Super Bowl with Kubiak. We can. With this defense, you can win a Super Bowl with just about anybody. So hopefully we do. 1 seed is here. First round bye is here. It's the best case scenario for this season. It's way better than I thought we were going to be. I think it's way better than most people thought we were going to be, especially the pundits. And what else is there really to say, man? 14-3, division title, number 1 seed. It's special. And I'm going to be enjoying this one for a long time. What else is there to really say about this game? Another thing to keep in mind here, we had 1 punt tonight. Michael Dixon punted the ball once, and we had 0 turnovers. Put those 2 things in your head, and I also think we had 0 3-and-outs. I could be wrong about that, but I don't think we had any 3-and-outs. Those things happen in a game, you're going to score points almost always. It was kind of a colossal fluke that we didn't. So, trying to comfort people. And by the way, Myers did have his worst game of the season. Not a great time for that to happen for our confidence, but I want to remind people he's been great this year. It was windy tonight. I'm not going to sweat it too much. It's not going to be a fun off season if he ends up having a bad day in a playoff game in a big moment, but he's been great. So I'm going to live with the bad game and just say that, hey, tonight we didn't need it. We didn't need much because this defense is that good. All right. I'm going to go and get on out of here. I will stream on YouTube later tonight, but 14-3. Enjoy these moments, and let's keep it going. See you guys later. Go Hawks.